Is it live? Are we live? Can you hear me? Can anybody see me? I'm all alone, huh? Yeah, 0 viewers. I don't get it. And this is recording too. What do I have to do? It showed that Liren was on there. I love you, bye. Invite people, right? Good. Can you guys hear me? How do you get in? I'm going to send you the link here. If that's what it is. I think that you just do that. Click that. Can you hear me? Are you listening? Can you hear me? Say that you. I see you say you can see me. Good times. All I had to do was switch my Google page. I don't know what the hell it was. My YouTube account was connected to my Google page instead of my Google profile, or vice versa, or something like that. What a pain. Did you just do that? Click that. Can you hear me? Are you listening? Can you hear me?
Wait, you're on both. I'm hearing you twice.
I see you say. Oh, I hear you now. That's good.
Yeah, but I heard you twice, which was very confusing to say the least.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah, okay, so I think we're live now, and I have to touch. 1 second. 1 second. Okay. Just to make sure the house won't burn down. Dalen, hello. How did you get here? Dalen, you there?
Dalen?
Dalen, the guy who helped you log on.
Was he gonna come on? I sent him a link.
I don't know. Depends on him.
Alright, I think I've invited people. We'll see what happens.
Stupid Google.
Alright, this is some sort of dry run. Oh, is that Daylin? Do I see you, Daylin?
Is it Dalen or Daylin or Dailin? Or what's going on?
We'll just call him Dylan.
Hmm?
Dylan. Just call him Dylan.
Dylan? No, Dylan is without a Y, without an A.
We'll go with Dalen then.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm Leo. I'm not Liran. I'm Leo because no one can pronounce my name correctly.
Says we have 0 viewers. I can't blame them right now.
Dylan, we can't hear you. No podemos escucharlos.
Now I can't hear anybody. It's all you. Cheers.
Salud. L'chaim. Do you know how they salute in Georgian?
Like that?
Hmm?
Like that?
No, how they salute, like, you know, they make a toast.
Oh, salut.
No, it's not like that. You take the cup, you bang it 3 times on the table, you say, Imani, 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 Jos, and drink.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm not Georgian.
I'm going to grab another beer. I'm 2 feet away. Don't worry.
What, do I look Georgian to you?
What?
What, do I look Georgian to you? Ah, Georgian, it's Gruzini.
I don't know Yiddish or whatever you're speaking there.
Yiddish? No, it's not Yiddish, it's Georgian.
Is that Georgian?
Georgia, a country near the Black Sea, not the state.
Georgia?
Yes, Georgia. Yes. Dalen? No? I think Dalen said something. Maybe not so.
Well, I had a viewer who I was supposed to speak with. The guy who I scheduled at 11 o'clock. I don't know who he was, though. I don't know how to get hold of him or tell him where I'm at or what's going on.
Dalen, I think you need to okay, Dalen. Wait, Dalen. I think Brandon needs to actually let you speak.
Oh, do I?
Yeah,
Oh.
I think you muted him. Yay! Stop copying me.
All right, I selected your. I don't know what to. Can you speak or can we not hear you?
Say something. Move your mouth. Do.
Is he talking?
I don't know. He doesn't seem to be talking unless he's a ventriloquist.
Ventriloquists make sound.
Oh, right. That's the. I think this video call is running an app that gives the mod.
I hear you. I think.
No, that's me. That's me mumbling to myself. Okay, I think what you need to do is to go over his thing and make sure he's not just visible, but also unmuted.
The only thing up above is it says mute microphone. And I don't want to press it.
Try pressing that. Try pressing and repressing that. Now you're muted. Okay, so Dylan, I think you need to unmute yourself. Okay, so then, Brandon, now you're muted. Unmute yourself.
This is
Can't
good.
hear you. Okay, now we can hear you again.
This is good. We need this sort of. This is good to have this so that when we have a real one, this will work. Holy shit! It's supposed to just be a video call. It's supposed to be easy. Jesus.
Nothing in this world is easy.
I think Dalen's putting us on. I think he can hear us, and he's just not
He can't
talking
hear.
or something. He can hear us. Yeah, he can hear us. He's just not talking.
Actually, I haven't seen his mouth move. He might be completely right.
Yeah, he's just waiting for us to. Uh-oh.
He just dropped out. Okay, he's trying to join and unjoin.
Yeah, it'll probably. I had that earlier. Remember you guys couldn't hear me, and I quit and came back on.
No, I wasn't there. No, I wasn't then there. I wasn't there then. Okay, he's back. Okay, there's video. Okay, there's video. And there's various amount of facial expressions. And there seems and there seems to be a considerable amount of technical meddling. Could it be because I'm not in your circle? Maybe, I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna go try to invite the person I was supposed to have the 11.
And I put Dalen in your circle. Does anyone remember the Jetsons? The whole point of the Jetsons was that technology does not make your life easier or something like that.
Did it make it? Did the Jetsons show that it made life harder? I thought that they had life real easy, didn't they?
I think they had the same problems as we did. It was kind of like the opposite of the Flintstones. The Flintstones was to show that even in like prehistoric times they had the same BS, and the Jetsons in super advanced space, whatever, have the same type of problems. I think that's the point.
Be crafted.
I've watched a lot of the Flintstones as a kid, but the Jetsons were too old for me, before my time.
Really, I watched them, and I'm younger than you. Okay, so we have a circle ad. No. What is the Kladenstein factor?
Clandestine?
No, Kladenstein. It means hidden, yes.
What did you say, clandestine?
Yeah,
Sounds
no, that's how you're supposed to say it. Kladenstein. Look for it.
No, that sounds like Palestine.
It does, doesn't it?
All right, Alan Forrester, where are you?
Does Alan Forrester make forests?
No, I think that's what he did in a previous life.
Okay, here's the definition on. This is the definition on. Oh no, it's starting to piss you off. We had to deal with this BS all day. Almost all day we've had to, try and see this thing working. And once we just recorded for an hour and it wasn't even recording.
It's true.
Now that's some serious BS right there. That doesn't piss you off. I don't know what does.
Stuart comes on and he's like, "You guys are just talking. You're not even recording anything." That was brilliant.
If you're so stupid, it was brilliant. But seriously, here's a link in the chat to what Kladenstein means, and I didn't just make it up, and I read it from Francis Bacon. That's where I got it from.
Well, I thought it was pronounced clandestine.
No, that's a different thing.
Clandestine is different from clandestine?
Yes.
Where's this link you... Oh, okay.
No, the opposite. Clandestine is the opposite of Kladenstein.
Oh, Dylan, maybe because you're not in my circles?
That's what he just said.
I didn't even see this chat thing going on the far side here. Yeah, let me do... okay, so you want me to share my screen?
Oh, wait, I mean those synonyms, okay. Okay, so clandestine and clandestine are synonyms that have the same variations on each other.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, I'm going to try to show... So you want me to show you my screen so you can see the settings? Okay.
Here's nodding.
I did this earlier, so I know...
Did anyone ever watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventures?
Screen.
No one? Not yet, okay. They do some, this is like a normal pose. People just walk around like this in it. I love it.
Alright, so my screen should be up now. Brilliant, that's beautiful.
Infinite loop! Ah, damn it.
You crashed it. Alright,
You sucker, you crashed the internet.
creating a black hole in the internet.
Look at it. Oh.
Now my settings, probably, do you need to see this stuff over here? Maybe now I can't see what you're saying. You need to see that stuff up there?
Turn that off. Wait, I'm gonna,
I don't know what settings to show you.
I'm gonna turn off my camera so we don't have this, what do you call it? So we don't have this infinite loop.
Dylan, what's your... Go to control room. What's your name on Google Plus, and I can try to add you to my circle or whatever. Dylan Morgan, all right.
That's not too surprising.
Let's see.
Could it be because it's because I'm Jewish?
I wasn't gonna say that, but yeah.
I don't know. It's oh, it'd be great. Now we're all doing it. I don't know. It's kind of like funny because it's like a stereotype that, you know, Jews, every time something bad happens to them, oh, it's anti-Semitism, you know. But if you're Mexican or Latino, I don't know what Latino is. I'm supposed to be Latino, I think, or Hispanic or Black, and you say it's because of racism, it's like normal, or homophobic or Islamophobic or whatever. So it's really weird when Jews do it. So when Jews do it, it's kind of stupid, and everyone knows it's stupid. But
Dylan, I found you. I'm putting you in my friends, acquaintances, following. Hell, I'll put you in my family.
no, don't do it.
I won't do it. I don't have anybody in my family. All right, so that might help something. God, there's so many stupid things in here.
Yeah, there's so many cat videos. I thought, you know, YouTube was...
I wasn't talking about the cat videos, but...
Do you like cat videos?
Do I like cat videos? I make cat videos.
You do make cat videos, yeah.
You've seen my cat videos, right?
No.
There's only a couple.
I've seen a lot of your stuff. I think I've seen the whole Greek history bit and the capitalism bit and all the really long, you know, sequences even. And some other stuff. Never seen the cat stuff because I really don't like cats. Well, I like cats. I just don't like seeing them too much.
Well, my cat played fetch, so I did a video of her playing fetch.
Your cat plays fetch. That's actually a very unique cat.
That was pretty weird, yeah.
She's a cat. It's a dog.
She's like a dog. She follows me everywhere and lays right by my feet at all times.
Seriously? So it's a cat with the soul of a dog.
Yeah. And about as fat as a dog, too. Big old cat. All right, so I've done what I can. Okay, now I found Dylan. I found you again here. I don't know what else I can do. I've added you to my circles. I've added you as a friend. I probably need to connect with you or something, right? No.
Oops, I just accidentally muted. I think I accidentally muted Dalen. I'm not sure if I did. How do I unmute you? Let's go to your profile. Let's unmute you. Okay, he unmuted himself. Oh, you can unmute yourself. That's important to know. That's interesting little datum.
Do I not need to do it? Does he need to do it?
I don't know. Oh no! Okay, now we're back to you and your. What is that thing?
It's an electronic cigarette.
Why do you have an electronic cigarette?
Because I never smoke.
Go to the control room! God damn it! Look, the control room is on the. Where is it? Look, I'm gonna share my screen a second.
You want me to go to the control room?
No, look. Here is the control room. Look, you see here. Here is the control room. You see where my mouse is? You see the weird Hebrew letter?
Yeah, okay. I see that. The control panel's over there, all right.
Okay, so click that thing. שיחת הוידאו הזו מופעלת אפליקציה שנותנת למנחה את היכולת לשלוט לגדורת וידאו שם במהלך השיחה כמו להפעלה. למנחה יש גם את היכולת להוציא אותך מהשיחה, לא נמור. This is in Hebrew, so this is completely useless to you. But if you press it, you're gonna get something in English.
Yeah, I pressed it and it said something, and I said okay, and then it went away.
Go there again and share the screen so Dalen can actually figure out we can actually help you figure out what's going on.
This should be the place Brandon can control the participants. On here?
As you can see, I am contributing with fan service right now. This is very good fan service on my part.
Oh, God.
I also do cosplays. I do cosplay a lot as Luffy from One Piece.
Alright, is my screen on? There we go. Okay, so hitting the control room.
Oh no, infinite loop. Of course you can't hear him. Dalen is muted. No, wait, is he?
Alright, so I'm in the control room and it's showing. Okay, here we go. Doesn't look like he's muted. Unless we are, too. We're not muted.
Click on the mic. Okay, click on the mic. Dalen, try saying something. Now he's muted. Wait, this should work.
Alright, so now he's muted.
Wait, there's a little screen below his volume thingy. You see there's a little arrow?
The what?
You see Dalen, then below his name? Below his name and above the... Oh, wait, it's gone. Okay, Dalen is checking on his end. Could be his end, I don't know. Help.
Now, this happened to me earlier today, and I restarted my computer and came back on, and they were able to hear me, so...
You know, you don't have to restart your computer every time for these... to fix this.
That's what I tell myself, but then I restart it and it does fix it. So
that's like, there's a cockroach. Get me the nuclear bomb.
My computer's not as new and stable as you think.
How old is it?
I don't know, but I can tell you. I think it's from like 2010.
Mine is from like 2012. No. Yeah, mine is from 2012.
Oh yeah, mine's 2012. That's not too bad.
Mine is really, these things are not built to last. This is just junk.
Well, this is a Macintosh. It's gonna last another 6 months or so.
I think mine is not gonna last so long either. I ran Windows on it. Not good for the laptops.
You're running Linux, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'm in the army. I'm in the Penguin Army.
So
All hail the Penguin!
Dalen, you can't figure out anything on your end?
Grr. What could it be? What could it be? Q&A. There's a Q&A section. Oh, I can't use Q&A. Showcase. Oh. What did I just
how
do?
is that different from... Oh, no.
That's the official, I'm confused soundbite. Okay, so he has headphones.
We've got a viewer.
Who's the viewer?
I don't know. Poor bastard.
Why would anyone want to view?
Watching us deal with technical difficulties.
Compose music together, a story for bed, no, wall lights.
There once was a man from Nantucket.
Nah, that's not a story. A story opens with Once Upon a Time.
Once upon a time, there was a man from Nantucket.
Ah, see, there you go. What's the next line?
His dick was so long he could suck it.
Hey, that doesn't rhyme with Once Upon a Time.
He said with a grin while wiping his chin, if my ear were a pussy, I'd fuck it. You know about the man from Iraq? Once was a man from Iraq who had holes down the length of his cock. And when he had an erection, he could play a selection from Johann Sebastian Bach. That's the only limerick I have that features classical musician.
That's funny.
Oh, look, we lost our viewer. That's what happens when we start limericks. They fucking leave like that. You unmuted yourself. He says, go to the goddamn...
Go to the control room. We now go to the control room. We tried that. We saw what happened. Is it at your end?
I never had to give permissions for everybody else. I didn't have to give permissions for Liren to talk.
Yeah. That's weird.
The only thing I can think of now is full restart. Try a full restart. It worked for me earlier.
Don't restart. Just close the thing now and log it again.
Don't let him find out.
No, just log out of Google first. Don't nuke your house because you have a rodent in it. That's a yeah. Yeah. You know, fairy tales didn't actually start with Once Upon a Time. There was a little parable, and then there was Once Upon a Time, blah blah blah. I'm gonna give you an example I particularly like. This is my favorite one. I like fairy tales.
All right, Dylan joined the call.
Wait, there's two Dylans? Huh?
Oh, man.
Oh, no! We have a clone! There's a cloning machine!
Oh, no. I tried to eject your dead one, and I don't know if I should, because it might kick you off, too.
Look, just eject him and then let him rejoin. Maybe that will help.
What if I eject him and it bans him for life or something?
I don't think that's how it works.
Good. All right, good. I ejected the dead one and it's gone. To our viewer. We've
You
been
will.
having technical difficulties and one of our speakers still not speaking.
We'll restart it. Oh god.
Oh, we just lost it.
Yalla yalla. Yalla yalla maze. That's my new catchphrase. You see, yalla yalla. You know what's yalla yalla?
No.
Yalla yalla. You don't know yalla?
Yalla?
Yalla.
Allah?
No, yalla.
Like Yalla Akbar?
No, yalla. Not Allah. Yalla. With a Y.
No, what is that, Yiddish?
No, that's Arabic.
Oh.
Yalla is like, come on, or vamos, or go.
Schnell!
Yeah, wait, what?
Yeah.
No, that means faster. So, yalla yalla, when an Israeli says yalla yalla, it means come on. Okay?
Sounds good.
Sounds good, okay. If you ever hear a guy saying yalla, it means come on. And maze is, ma is what, and ze is that, so it's like, what is it? Guess. Okay? And one of my favorite characters in a Japanese thing says yare yare does it, which is like, give me a break or something. So one day I just found myself saying yale yale maze. I like it. Who is the Andrew the Red? You know this guy?
Oh, Andrew the Red. Now, how do I get... Andrew, welcome. I have to do something to turn you on or something?
How the fuck is that mustache? Tell me that's not your real life mustache. Isn't it real life mustache?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Oh,
Yes.
we can hear you. Fantastic.
Yes.
Welcome to the event. We just had another guy who was on and his microphone wouldn't work for the last 15 minutes, so it's been...
Yeah, he told us to go to the control room and it didn't fucking help. And then he cloned
Yeah,
himself!
I saw you made a Hangout, but it wouldn't let me in, and it said I needed some invitation or something like that. So I checked Facebook again, and it looked like you made a different Hangout, so that's good.
Yeah, we were having a billion problems, but we got all of them fixed. All billion. It only took 6 hours.
Yep.
All right, well, Mr. Andrew, Liren and I have been talking all day, so it's good to have some fresh blood in the conversation here. We did like a 2-hour hangout earlier, so...
With
what-
Stewart and the other guy.
What subjects do you bring to the table to discuss? I can't remember what we had mentioned on YouTube.
Well, I guess there's the... I don't know
Okay,
if
they
we did-
also audible, so everyone say something.
I'm good. Yeah, we got Dalen. We got sound from Dalen now?
It's horrible.
All right.
Wait, it's choppy. Everyone, I'm gonna turn off my video camera. Everyone turn off their video camera because I don't think this thing has enough internet juice for all of us.
Well, I'm really handsome, so I'm going to have to leave mine on.
Ah, of course.
I think Cropper's a VIP.
Aha. Well, you're going to bring some stuff to the table here, right, Andrew? What were you planning on speaking about with us?
Well, I did watch most of the other Hangout. You were talking a lot about the definition of life. And are you planning on doing the Hangout with Piero tomorrow about Nietzsche?
Yes, and about whatever else he comes up with.
Do you remember a long time ago doing Zarathustra, and then he actually recorded a bit of him commenting on your videos?
Oh my god, he was like the great granddaddy of all the reaction videos.
He's an egghead, damn it. But it might be interesting. I mean, I was so frustrated with his frustration with my Zarathustra series. But we'll see. We'll see. It's never a bad thing for objectivists to be seen in public with idiots because it just makes us look smarter.
Yeah, well, I'll have to have to warn you, if you do go to the Puros Hangout, depending on who else is there, you may find yourself, in the lion's den, because a lot of the people there, like certainly Puro is a Bernie Sanders supporter, and some of his other buddies are like that too. But usually it's myself and another guy will kind of fight them off and enjoy ourselves doing it. So just to let you know, and another thing I don't know if you remember a long time ago, a guy named in Mendham.
Yeah.
His real name was Gary, but he did a couple of videos, or maybe one video, with some criticism of one of your YouTube videos. But he has been there the last few times, but he's a pretty aggressive guy. And actually, the last Hangout, which are usually on the Sundays, the last Hangout, Puro actually booted him from the Hangout because he was calling some guy a troll, which I think actually was legitimate. But anyway, so he might not be there tomorrow.
I want in on this. I want in on the action. Yes.
If in Mendham's there, it could be a real circus. That guy's a nut.
Yeah, it would be a circus if he was there.
I remember his video was titled "Crapping on Cropper."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually fun.
I got a kick out of it. It was really he just said, "Fucking Cropper's so fucking stupid. What a fucking idiot!" And it just went on and on and on like that. That was it.
Yeah,
That was the whole video.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess apparently he has some kind of agoraphobia, but it doesn't seem to matter so much when he's yelling at people on the internet.
Yeah.
So I don't quite understand that. But
He is. We are going to have a lot of fun with all of the, like, everyone's sort of paying attention to intellectual subjects now, like they didn't 10 years ago and stuff. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun debating with these people if it doesn't all fall apart at some point. But like the presidential debates 4 years ago and 8 years ago were shit. And this time around, a lot of people are tuning in, and they're really rowdy debates.
They're great. I love them. The best debates in living memory for me.
For sure. Andrew, what do you think? Now, I call you Andrew just because that's your handle. Is that your name I should call you by?
yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Right. Mr. Red.
I call you Mustache Guy.
What's your stance on Trump?
I think he's necessary. I actually did a video. I made a second channel. This channel here was supposed to be a video game channel, and that's where I actually got a lot of my views. But I started doing book videos, which I think you've seen some of them.
Yeah.
But anyways, I pulled them all off to another channel, and I actually made another video on that second channel about what Nietzsche would tell the U.S. to do in this circumstance. And he would say to use Trump to kind of cleanse the political landscape and start over, because I think no matter what, no matter if Trump gets in or Hillary gets in, the GOP will never be the same, because Trump is not a typical GOP guy. He's an outsider. And if Clinton were to get in, that's a third-term Democrat, and that's still going to cause it. That's going to be social unrest in the States, there's no doubt. I'm in Canada, by the way. That's why I say the States. So this is a big election. I actually just recently heard that Trump got 13 million votes in these primaries, and that's a record. That's a new record for votes, and I assume the turnout will be even greater, the voter turnout. So this is a historic year, and I think, like I'm saying, Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrible choice. It's Obama 3.0. It's status quo. And I agree that with the whole narrative about anti-establishment, I think that's a good thing. And I think Bush's and Clinton's is a bad thing for the United States. And an outsider, as much as you have to hold your nose for some of the things that Trump advocates, I think he's necessary. That would be my position.
I legitimately like a lot of it, especially the China stuff. They talked about that. The foreign policy stuff, the Mexico stuff, and other bits. But I think that one thing, and this is something you can, by looking at Argentine history, and abstracting the causes. This is going to be the last election with where it's going to be like two major parties. I think a third party way is going to be eminent. There's going to be left party, middle party, and there's going to be a right party. Something like they have in Argentina, where there are, you know, there used to be 2 parties, and they split. This was in the 20s, and it's been that way ever since, because it's stuck that way for reasons.
Up here in Canada, we have that. We have 3 parties. We have a conservative party, although they call themselves progressive conservative, so you might consider them central, really. And then we have a liberal party, which is definitely left, and we have our Prince Trudeau in right now. And then even more left is the NDP, which is basically Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. Bernie Sanders is done, though. Thank God of it, too.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? Bernie Sanders was a bit of an outsider, too, just like Trump. He had a different kind of democratic spin, a more radical spin, and I don't think that his supporters, Bernie Sanders supporters, are not going to swallow their pride for Clinton. And just recently, you may have noticed that Obama and Bernie Sanders had a meeting, and I imagine that meeting was telling Bernie, look, yes, you're too old, yes, you're not going to be able to run again because then you'll be 78, and so that's it, and you need to tell your supporters to vote Clinton. And I bet you Bernie is like, they're not going to do it. They don't like Clinton. She's status quo, she's a bankster, all those donations, she's corrupt from all those donations. And the people that support Bernie Sanders are not going to go for that. They're not going to swallow that.
I don't think
now,
so.
Some of them,
I really disagree, because remember, these people, you know, these are the leftists. The leftists are good because they're against the evil, bad, horrible Republicans, and Trump is a pretty evil, bad, horrible Republican in their view.
Yeah, for sure some of them will vote just because they'd rather not have Trump. But I still think a lot of the youth vote. The youth vote don't give a shit. They just won't show up. So I think that a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters just won't show up at the polls.
All of them are gonna vote. I mean, you gotta remember how fanatical these people are when it comes to these things.
Yeah, but they were fanatical for Bernie, not to vote Clinton. They just won't give a shit.
They're gonna vote Clinton just because it's less bad than Hillary. That's probably.
Yeah, well, that's a rational voting choice. I don't think young Bernie Sanders student protester types are going to bother.
I think they're going to look at they're going to be up on the first female president. And
that's stupid nonsense, of course. Yeah.
That's their bet. What do you mean that's stupid nonsense? Of course, that's their stick. Stupid nonsense.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I'm just saying. I think it's dumb, but. Yes, for sure, people vote that way, but I just think it's dumb. But yeah, you're right.
I know it's dumb, which is why they're gonna do it.
I know.
Yep. Okay, so we're in agreement on that, but I think they're gonna jump on that. I mean, you know, we have a Hillary Clinton as president equivalent in Argentina. She's called Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner. Carbon copy.
Is that where you are?
Huh?
Is that where you live?
Yes. Well. Yes. I mean, Cristina rose to power by being a lawyer. She became a senator. Then she met her husband. Her husband was president. Then he handed over the scepter to her. In Argentina, you can, if you're a president, you can say, okay, I make that guy the president. It's kind of dumb. And she became in power, and she's ruled like that for 4 years, and they call it the Kirchner dynasty. She's gone now, and we're discovering massive, and I mean fucking massive, corruption behind her. Everything from money from China, from money from drug cartels, to you name it. And, you know, the funny thing is, she's probably less bad than Hillary.
That's not hard.
That's not hard. No, but I mean, you know, even though she committed to it, she's less bad, which is really, you know, difficult to do.
Cropper, what's happened to the Tea Party? Because that was big a few years ago, but it's kind of died away.
I think
that little, you know, the thing you put in the tea and you use it so much that it doesn't have any flavor anymore. You know that when that happens? That's what happened to the Tea Party. They ran out of tea flavoring.
I think 20 or 30 years from now, people are going to look back at the Tea Party and say that people didn't appreciate how important it was at the time. You know, for the first time since 1938, federal spending didn't increase for 2 years straight, and that happened just because of the Tea Party. Just because every time they tried to bring in a big spending bill, the Tea Party said no. You're not going to do it. So they had to sequester, you know. So I think the Tea Party's done a lot more good just by tying up the gears than anyone wants to admit, and they've really stopped a lot of nonsense from going through. So our best bet if Hillary wins is probably to get as many Tea Party candidates in as we can to fight Hillary so we can hold the House and Senate. I think the Tea Party is kind of a train wreck, and they're religious, and they don't have their values on straight, but they've done a lot of good.
You're going to have social unrest in the U.S. if another Democrat wins, because that's a third term. That hasn't happened since FDR or World War II. So that's going to be a problem down there, I think.
I don't think Hillary will win. I think it'll be Trump, but I think the situation.
Hillary can't win for one reason. She has a glass jaw, and Trump is a swarmer. That's what he does. I mean, they just, so far, he just says, "Oh, Trump, you're so sexist. Look how we treat women." And he said,
"Yeah,
"Go with the fucking rapist."
She's a female. She's a female, and so the media is going to be behind her 1,000,000%.
But Trump is immune to the media. We already saw what the media does to Trump. It doesn't even tickle him. It's just media-proof.
And the Democrats are masters at stealing votes. Anybody who's dead or out of town is going to vote for Hillary.
Yes.
So
sometimes even twice.
Yeah, some of them are going to vote 2 or 3 times for Hillary. So
something is so good, you got to do it twice.
Yeah, exactly. There's a real danger that voter fraud could steal it for Hillary. The Democrats are definitely not above that.
In Israel, the religious, the ultra-Orthodox religious right always does that. They're famous for it.
Well, I think they're going to have to steal it by a large number. Trump's going to get more votes. So
very likely. I mean, you see how the guy debates. You see how bad Hillary is. I mean, and the guy's media-proof, so the usual, let the media take care of him isn't gonna do anything. And he hasn't even begun to fight. He's been busy, securing his home front, so to speak, by winning the Republican nomination. Now he has to go after Hillary.
Yeah, easy. Big target. She's a big target. There's lots of stuff to attack her on.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the guy has energy. The guy really throws. He throws heavy punches, and he throws a lot of them. It's gonna be a joy to watch him work on that bit.
Yeah, I was thinking that, like when the Democratic debates were pretty wimpy, and they weren't really heated until maybe near the end when Bernie was kind of seeing that his end was near. But with the Republican debates, they were nasty all the way through. Trump was doing a lot of bullying and name-calling, kicked out Jeb Bush. That was a big deal, right? And so Trump has, I think, all his dirty laundry, I think, has been aired. But Clinton's, none of it has been aired. So when those two start going at it and start doing debates and start doing political ads on TV and stuff, I know there's been a few so far, but Clinton is wide open, and there is a lot to choose from. So she's going to get chewed up, I think. And what's she going to do? Is she going to cry victim and say, "Oh, I'm a woman, how they're harassing me"? That's not going to win her anything, because that looks weak, and you can't be a president and do that. So the only way she has to do it is she has to be just as strong as Trump, but I don't think she can do that. There's just too much.
We saw Obama act, I'm
bad
a
history there.
African guy, and he won using that. So.
Yeah, it looks like Trump definitely has the upper hand in every way from the beginning. I am afraid that he might start trade wars with China or something like that, because
please, yes.
Then the price of everything here would go up, and we would get less money back from China. All the money we send them, they send right back to us. So.
Yeah, but they don't. But they stop development, because remember, you invent something in the USA, you're gonna see a lick of it. Meaning, people aren't gonna invent it. People don't invent. Innovation is done. Innovation is done. You can kiss the whole, Putin's a battle goodbye.
All the innovation that exists in the world is in America. What are you talking about?
Is this, this guy, the Rats?
Yeah, Johan and Rats. Johan, welcome to the debate circle thing.
Hi, how's it going? Is my mic working?
What's that?
Is my mic working?
Yes, very good.
His works first time.
Daily 20 minutes of non-mic action. But we were just going over Trump saying Hillary's hopeless.
Yep.
And China.
She wants to go after the Second Amendment if she gets in, actually.
He wants to what?
Hillary wants to go after the Second Amendment, which is scary.
She does. Obama tried.
Obama tried, but the thing is, he had a Supreme Court in the way. But Scalia's dead now, so...
Conveniently dead.
Yeah, that was strange. That's like the Sandy Hook. There's too many strange things.
Mm-hmm.
Feels a lot like Argentina to me. I live in Argentina, Mr. Rats.
Yeah, if we're not
What
careful,
about VP?
end up like that.
Want to talk about VP choices? Because that might help. I heard Trump might pick a politician because he isn't one. Like Newt
Rubio
Gingrich, for
might
example.
work. The Gingrich might work. A couple of people might pick up contingency or constituency. Rubio might help solidify the base. Cruz might help with the religious vote. And then Gingrich might also help solidify the base.
Ben Carson is the best choice.
What?
Ben Carson is the best choice.
Ben Carson, why?
They're friends. And they agree with each other. You know, I took one of those tests. Which candidate do I
That
agree with?
guy
97%
was
Trump,
awful
97% Carson.
to
That
watch
might
in the
not,
debate.
that's not going to work. That's not going to
Ben
work.
Carson was a potted plant for most of the debates.
First thing for foolish things, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he needs to team up with Trump. He's strong, well, Trump isn't strong. Trump is a good at talking. Carson is Carson is a bonsai tree. Trump doesn't look as a very intelligent and planning guy. Carson is a careful planner. Carson is a technical guru. He was literally a brain surgeon. Trump seems a bit more, reckless. I mean, they're a perfect fit.
Yeah, no. Carson's a beta male. We need an alpha male. Carson's a beta male.
No, he's a VP.
Carson rally when he was in
Beta male. It makes sense. If he was not a VP, he would be an alpha male. But he's a VP, so he's a beta. That makes sense.
He's not an alpha male. Donald Trump's
a bad idea.
I think Carson is his best choice because Carson is an intelligent guy and they have a common language somehow.
I think Trump will choose some sort of a politician just to legitimize
I don't think
himself.
he would choose a VP based on political convenience. I think he's going to choose a guy who's going to help with the operation. That's his MO, so to speak. Especially if he watches TV show. I watched The Apprentice. Actually, The Apprentice is a really good show because A, you learn what it means to do business. B, it's some pretty good life lessons. Don't take responsibility. Take control. Don't be lazy. Be honest. Yeah.
I think
it's very good TV show.
I think Trump represents decent, hardworking values. I mean, aside from bankruptcy and whatever else.
Nah, some people actually do get bankrupt. I think. I don't even know how it works. Yeah, I think they. I don't know how bankruptcy works in the USA.
Some billionaires go bankrupt, I heard.
Well, the billionaires don't go bankrupt. The business goes bankrupt.
Right.
Because it's either an LLC, C Corp, S Corp, whatever. Those things can go bankrupt because they're limited liability in that respect.
Or in Trump's case, 4 of them go bankrupt.
Huh?
You said, or in Trump's case, 4 of them go bankrupt.
Yeah, 4 different companies, right, or casinos.
Right. Which I suppose happens because it's real estate, and you can never. Real estate is a boom or bust business.
I think he probably had options for what he could do, and he used the bankruptcy laws to his advantage, like all business men do.
What did you say?
I say he used the bankruptcy laws to his advantage, like all businessmen do. So I don't know if we can blame him for that so much as just the system.
Well, I mean, you can't look at something that everyone does and say, well, he's rotten for doing that. I mean, you know, it's kind of like a requirement to play, so to speak. You gotta do that if you want to be in business. If not, nobody would be in business, and that would be like.
Yeah, people who aren't willing to do that stuff don't end up with $10 billion. So, all right, well, here's the problem with politics is it's ephemeral. 9 months from now, this video is going to be slightly outdated because Trump will be in the White House.
These things are outdated. These things are outdated.
Well,
really, yeah.
If we have a good, thick discussion on the nature of life or the nature of physics or something, that's a video that can be watched 15 or 20 years later, you know?
That's true.
Well,
Well, Cropper, have you been watching a lot of Milo Yiannopoulos?
I love Milo Yiannopoulos. I almost want to call Trump daddy like he does.
Yeah, well, I think he's been really good about those student protests, and he's doing that tour and going to those different universities, and he's doing a really good job. He's the social justice warriors are just reeling from his savagery on the field there.
Who the hell is this guy?
They can't fight him because he's gay. So
Oh my God, he looks fabulous.
He is fabulous. And you know what they said? He said, it's not just that we're smarter than our opponents, the social justice warriors. We're much, much better looking. Which isn't hard to do. The social justice warriors are all these frumpy, fat lesbians and stuff.
Yeah. They don't look good. You know, there was a communist party in Japan that wanted to, literally, that says that handsome people oppress them because they're better looking.
Well, they've got a point, but it's not going to come to America because we love beautiful people.
So I hope. Haven't seen Milo Yiannopoulos, man. If that's, I don't know this guy. This is the first time I ever hear of Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yiannopoulos is brilliant. He said he got up in a speech one day and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, feminism is canceled." And then he sat down. The totality of his remarks. That was excellent. And what did he go to?
He did a poll, right? He polled a bunch of people and asked them, "Would you rather your kid have cancer or have feminism or believe in feminism?" And I think it was a close call.
That was brilliant. It was 45-55 in favor of cancer.
That's not funny.
Brilliant. But yeah, Milo's on the attack, and the funny thing is, he was going to debate a feminist at one of those universities. What did he signed up for? Like 52 different universities to go visit, and he was going to debate a feminist at one of them, and the university banned him and the feminist, and the topic was, does feminism have a problem with free speech? So why are they going to ban? They're going to ban their own people too. They just cannot have these discussions. They can't stand it.
It's just in the favor of equality that they ban everybody.
Hello, Superfin guy. Who is Superfin guy?
Hello, can you hear me?
Superfin, we do hear you. Welcome to the Circle Jerk or whatever this is.
Thanks.
I think the university deserve all this, though. They deserve all these Occupy things, the people sitting outside the dean's office and all that, because they've been fostering all this stuff. They've been complicit in all this stuff, so I think they deserve it. Now, so far, I've only seen one college stand up to it, and that's Ohio State College, I think. The dean and some assistant of his came out and told the students that they need to leave or they'll be arrested. You might look that up on YouTube. It's pretty interesting. I think that's the only university that's really up.
Yeah, the universities have planted the seed, and they're in charge of this shit.
Yep.
And it's coming home to roost now because enrollment at some of these schools has dropped off by 60 or 70%. Because parents are like, I'm not sending my kid there to learn that nonsense, whatever's going on down there. Now that'll hurt those universities worse than anything. If all of a sudden their enrollment drops off massively, they're gonna have to fire half of their staff. And universities don't do that. That'll be a disaster. So I think it's brilliant what he's doing, calling attention to it. Even when he gets banned, he calls attention to it. So it's brilliant. I love Milo.
Does anyone actually believe that feminism has, any content behind it? I mean, I don't know that, they say that, women are objectified, or women are underpowered by being swimsuit models. I turn on the TV, I see these women dressed up looking like, seriously, Aphroditas, the love goddess in Greek mythology. And they say, women are underpowered, they're meant to... What the? Last time I was at a bar, women drink for free, and it's really hard to hit on them because they act like snobs. They do.
Yeah, it's a joke.
The guys in the audience will say yes. And these women speak about, women being underpowered and exploited and whatever.
I think feminism may have been spread by the KGB or something, just to try to destroy our society.
Yeah, I also kind of agree with that.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I've seen videos about the interviews with KGB guys and stuff. So.
You know what I think is the new type of
Sounds
feminism?
like conspiratorial bullshit.
What was that?
I said that sounds like conspiratorial bullshit.
It does, but you listen to
It has anything to do with feminism.
Documented. Do you ever hear of the guy called Yuri Bezmenov?
That's him, Yuri.
Yuri Bezmenov. Yuri Bezmenov said that only 15% of his work in the KGB, you see, he was a KGB defector. He went to Canada in order to, or the US or whatever, to avoid being a KGB agent. He said only 15% of our work is, James Bond spy stuff. The other 85% is going into universities, making sure certain professors agree with us, spread the Soviet message, normalize the country, make the moral fiber weak so it would be easy to take over from the inside.
Yeah, that's
and he
cultural
admits it, and it's well known. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's documented.
It's conspiracy fact, right?
No, it's not. Well, it's a conspiracy. It's not a theory. It's fact. Yeah, it's a conspiracy.
Some conspiracies are real, but the problem is their society wrecked and fell apart before they were able to come take us over.
Right, they got lucky. Like, that liberation theology was invented in the Crimea.
Was it?
Yes, it's pretty provable. I mean, it's not like all these things. It's kind of murky, but it's pretty easily provable. All the people went to certain places and said the same things. It's kind of trackable, so to speak.
I thought that came from Cuba. Liberation theology.
It came from Crimea, then to Cuba, and then trickled its way down south.
That makes sense. Why would the Cubans suddenly be able to come up with philosophy?
Cuban are philosophical people. They're Spanish, you see, they're passionate.
You said they are philosophical people? They are?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a stereotype. You see, they think Spanish people are philosophical. So.
They are?
No, it's a stereotype.
I think that was in the 16th century or something.
Yeah,
not today.
It's been a while.
These things last. These things last. Well, no. In truth, people in Latin America are more concerned with philosophy than most people in North America. As far as I can tell.
Okay, well, let's see. What's another subject that we haven't breached yet? We've done Trump.
Oh, wait. I just want to say something. Anyways, if you ask me, feminism was invented, the new one, not the old one. The new one is feminism just invented by ugly women as a way to be mad at the prettier women. That's my current idea.
That's reasonable. That's as reasonable as anything, I think. I mean, I think it comes out of a moral baseness on the left. But I'm going to be doing a lot of talking about that in the video series on the genealogy of morals, so I probably shouldn't hang all that out right here.
Okay, that's another thing to talk about. Anyone got any?
What other stuff are you reading there, Cropper?
Right now.
Did you finish that exploring book? What are you reading? Some exploration book?
Yeah, Around the World by Bert Green. It's not that good. It's got information. It's okay. I'm also reading Trafalgar, about the battle at Trafalgar, which is a little slow. And
What happened to the ancient Greeks? They're all about the Greeks way back when. With your school.
I read 25 books about them.
That's a lot.
Also, Michael Grant, right?
Yeah, Michael Grant he's kind of a lightweight as far as the Greeks go, but he was a popularizer. He was the Carl Sagan of Greek historians.
I recently read Victor Davis Hanson's Western Way of War.
Aha!
Love that book.
I haven't read that. Was it quite good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it might have been his dissertation or something, but it's quite good. It has like a single message, but
was about agronomy and agriculture in the Peloponnesian War.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I've heard him do speeches on the content of that, and let's see. I think one of his lines is something like, "Democracies field often very large armies and very determined armies,
Right.
after refusing to arm right up to the very last minute."
Yeah.
Something like that.
However, we all know who won in the ancient world. It was the Macedonians. The Macedonians who got the last laugh, not the...
With Alexander the Great?
Yeah, and Philip, his dad. Philip was
Yeah.
the second. So when it comes to military might, the ambitious aristocrats win at the end for some reason, because they're strong enough to rally behind them. People, and they're not entitled enough to be lazy and stupid. Oh, look, there's Stuart. Hey, Stuart.
Hi.
Oh, well, come in, Stuart.
What?
Yeah, I think that the ancient Greek, the reason the ancient Greeks were eventually destroyed by Macedonia was because they had grown comfortable and wealthy.
I just think the Macedonians had more vitality in them because, these ideas came to Macedonia relatively fresh. These ideas were kind of old in Greek. They were being chewed down by Plato, by Socrates to an extent. Aristotle, who really was very Greek in his attitude, was from Macedonia. Remember, he didn't... It's kind of like Ayn Rand coming to the United States and being very American. She didn't grew up with this, but she aspired for it. And Aristotle just came from Macedonia to study this because he had more, I guess, intellectual vitality in him.
Yeah, but like half of people in Athens were not from Athens, so...
That's not... Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but that doesn't explain it.
That was a very, 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 very large city, and they weren't all born there. They were from all over the place.
Yeah, Aristotle was an immigrant.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't an immigrant. He was the official term is a meta-oikos.
What?
That's a
Meta-oikos.
another word for immigrant.
Immigrant
No,
from where?
it's a word for expatriate. He had no qualms about he did not want to become an Athenian. That's what immigrant was. Just a guy living there, maybe an expat, like technically I am now, or a metic, as it was in the term. Meta-oikos, outside of the house.
Well, we're seeing a replay of whatever happened to Athens right now in Germany and in France. Because they've got 40, 50, 60 years of freedom and good living, and they're not willing or ready to fight. They think that everything gets handed to them, and right now something's not being handed to them, and they just don't understand it. They just don't get it. And they'll fall apart. It'll fall apart.
I want to ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about Epicurus? Because I've been reading these books lately about Epicurus's influence on these pro-induction philosophers from the Renaissance and Enlightenment, like Spinoza and John Locke and Pierre Gassendi. And I think it's kind of weird and Francis Bacon where...
There's no influence on Francis Bacon. I read almost all of Francis Bacon's work and he never mentions him.
And I think it's weird because Aristotle, was Bowdlerized, forgive me for mispronouncing that, but the scholastics, only cited Aristotle on things they liked, and they purposely hid things they didn't like, and they just kept repeating it. And they said, "Well, we're speaking for Aristotle, and who are you to disagree with Aristotle? Who is Galileo to disagree with Aristotle?" And it seems to me that these pro-induction philosophers like Gassendi came to hate Aristotle, and they thought when they were defending induction, they were contradicting Aristotle, and they said their hero was Epicurus.
Wait, that is not true. I mean, what's his face? Bacon speaks favorably about Aristotle in many places.
Well, what's the writing of Epicurus that they felt was relevant?
Well, he was. I think it was one thing is that he's atheistic, and he has this idea that matter isn't created or destroyed; it only changes form. And he's the philosopher. I think he's a philosopher who said, "I'm not scared about death because where death is, I am not. And once death comes to me, I won't be there to feel uncomfortable about it."
Typical Greek that way. That's good. No, I wasn't aware that Epicurus had epistemological writing.
Can you point to like a passage that indicates his influence or something like that?
Not off the top of my head. It was in the. So I don't know. Maybe my sources, were inaccurate. But I read a book about this called Nature's God by Matthew Stewart, and he spells his last name wrong because he spells Stewart. So he spells his last name wrong.
Indeed. That's interesting, though. Epicurus is an epistemologist. I wouldn't have thought. That'll make me want to get a book.
Did anyone read Bacon's books by any chance? I read them at least 24 times.
You read what 24 times?
The Nuevum Organon, especially book 2, about his prerogative instances and his tables. Does anyone read that? Or the only inductionist in the house I am.
There have been. I ran across a question on one of your videos from somebody about can you explain more about the nature of induction or something, and I thought that I don't know. I think maybe.
That was Apollo from Mexico. Apollo from Mexico was asking about that. I'm surprised he's not here. I'm surprised he's not, because I remember he commented a lot on your videos too. But
Galen,
I don't know, I'm not an expert on induction. That's Roderick Fitz's territory.
I know a lot about induction. I can probably answer the question. Fitz is not very good.
We should be harassing Roderick Fitz and trying to
harassing me. I can answer it. I know it. Come on, do it. I know it. Tell me.
And I gotta tell you, it's good to have token women in your Google Hangouts. Young, good-looking token women, because then more people watch and more people participate.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about all that stuff. Have you ever heard of a woman philosopher?
Enough for everyone to attract everyone.
You ever heard of a woman philosopher? There are no women philosophers.
There's Steven Pinker's wife, Rebecca Newberger Goldstein, and she has a pretty good video on TED Talks. It's cartoon of her and Steven Pinker talking, and she outright says she hates these books about how reason proves humans can't reason. She says that's self-refuting. And I was so impressed that someone other, a non-objectivist, would admit that.
It's very obvious.
Who's arguing that people can't reason?
There are these books like Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it.
I know him. He's Israeli. It's Ariely.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. White people names confuse me. Yeah. So.
White is Semitic.
Okay. But anyway, Predictably Irrational, Animal Spirits, they all say inductive reasoning proves human beings are congenitally incapable of inductive reasoning. It's completely unreliable, you know. And
Well,
other than
to be fair, the book is
Yeah.
correct if reasoning was done in the way they see, because they view reasoning in a very, very different way, the way Ayn Rand advocates view induction. For them, it's about what do things have in common, and they point to Hume, and they point to, and even Peikoff and Herriman point to this in their book about induction.
Aristotle's a lot of really, really good, rich stuff. And all off. What happened to you? Everybody gone silent? Has the use app?
no, I mean, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Anyways,
but I'm disappointed in Mary Midgley and Rebecca Neuberger Goldstein, because Rebecca Goldstein talks about Ayn Rand, and she uses the usual straw man where she talks about Socrates' conversation with Thrasymachus in the Republic, and she says, well, he argues that there is no morality. You know, if the strong can dominate the weak, they should. Then Rebecca Goldstein says, well, that's Ayn Rand's point of view. So, you know, I just slapped my forehead when I read that.
Oh, I was trolling earlier when I said there are no women philosophers. I thought everybody here would just immediately say, Ayn Rand. I was just trolling.
Oh, well,
it's
there's her and Mary
obvious
Midgley.
that we don't think.
And Judith Jarvis Thompson, she's the one who came up with those annoying thought experiments where she says, well, what if Philippa Foot and Judith Jarvis Thompson, both women, they came up with that irritating trolley problem.
And also the violinist argument. I think that's very
I know the trolley problem for trolls.
Yeah, the trolley problem.
Trolley troll problem. Yeah. I remember doing a video on that back in the day, and I said, why does someone always have to die? Why is it always a question of death when you talk about ethics? And I immediately got destroyed by Piano is the Remedy for not saying that Ayn Rand was the source of that idea. But that was an interesting query. I remember when I was presented with it in college. I said, you'd kill one person or kill 5 people? And I didn't.
Are we trying to kill as many as possible, or are we trying to kill as least as possible and get away with it? I'm confused.
Assuming the value is human life and you don't want to kill people, I guess, which they don't
okay. I don't know. I don't even know what we're in. It's starting to feel like, you know, D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, were kind of a game. That's what it feels like.
Well, I'm sorry, I have to go. I just wanted to put in a token appearance. Maybe if you had more young token women who looked like Amber Heard, who, by the way, likes Ayn Rand.
Hey, before you go, Stuart, let's do a quick
I know a
vote.
lot of good-looking young women who might know something about ideas, and maybe don't know. I can get them on the show and stuff.
Well, right now we don't have any. Right now we don't have any young women on. So let's do a quick vote about Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter has the idea that women shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Well, if you're talking about her first. Well, she should stop voting first.
You should quit voting first.
Yeah.
Where's Ann Coulter?
Oh, she's deporting me. I'm leaving because Ann Coulter is deporting me.
Okay. Thanks for coming in, Stuart.
I'm confused. Who is this Ann Coulter person?
She's the Donald Trump of women.
That's pretty accurate.
She's like a troll. She's even got like the blonde bleached hair like Trump, except his is orange. But her hair is outrageous like his. But she doesn't think women should be allowed to vote. So
did she actually say that, or is it like what people say about her, or was it?
Oh yeah, she actually said it. You kidding me? You don't know about this?
I never heard about it because I don't listen to.
I remember hearing about it. Yeah.
I never hear about trendy U.S. politics, buzz, blah blah.
Yeah,
She's another troll, right? Like Trump.
Yeah, she's
No,
the
Trump
Trump of
isn't a
women.
troll. If you think he's a troll, you're doing it wrong. Trump isn't doing it to troll people. Trump is doing it because that's what he thinks, and he says what he thinks. That's it.
Milo's a troll.
Yeah, well, kind of. I think he's
Milo
just
and Nick
another
both are
Republican, but I think he's better than Hillary Clinton for sure. But I think he's just another Republican. I think
I
he's
think
going
he's
to be
better than all
exactly
the
the same.
Republicans. I really think
Maybe.
he's better than all the Republicans.
I think he's a good speaker. He knows how to appeal to people's emotions, but
But he also
I
speaks
think
sense. He's a good
Yeah.
logical speaker too. He gets his point across. I mean,
well, some things, yeah, true.
not something,
But
everything. Immigration. Why does he need immigration? Doing it legally, illegally is bad. You don't want to come into a country illegally and then be rewarded for it. That makes the people who did it legally look like idiots. Next, China. China is jobs, a bad state. So is Mexico. It's their pernicious. We all know it. They shouldn't win against us. Next.
well, like his thoughts on the economy are totally wrong. You know.
Huh?
I think his thoughts on the economy and how the government should interfere with the economy, I think, are totally wrong.
I think
Because
that's correct, especially with China.
I agree with you, Super Finn. I agree with that. I think that free trade is the answer, even though it's messy, costly, and frustrating.
I disagree because I'm not a free trader. I'm a capitalist. I want property. I want property rights. I want contracts being upheld.
Yeah, and people
going to China and using a patent of some guy in the USA, doing it there, not paying the inventor, getting it into the USA and making a quick buck under no quality.
Well, I think everyone should be able to trade with anyone else. So, you know, I think everyone should be able to trade with anyone else. If
I
you
don't
choose
think so.
to make business
if
with
I
me,
invent something, I want to be an inventor. If I invent something and you go and make my invention without paying me referendums as in patents, I think that shouldn't happen. I think that's a very bad way to have things because then inventors are gone and they don't count. That would be free trade. It wouldn't be capitalism. It would be anarchy, maybe. But it would be
China is locking itself out of the world economy by that behavior. So in the long run, America
working very well for them because there's always short-sighted people, especially in business.
Yes, but in the long run, America is going to be able to make those new inventions and discoveries and start new businesses because we protect rights and we protect property. And in the long run, China is going to screw itself and will drop out of the world economy and be unable to compete because it is not a system of law. So they're screwing themselves, and eventually, you know, the birds are going to come home to roost, and they're going to have to answer for it.
But then there's going to be another country that does it. It could be Mexico, because we know Mexico doesn't respect IP. In fact, engineers are kind of forced to work for the drug cartel just because of conditions and because they threaten them. That's what, you know, Mexicans think of these things.
Well, the next country that's going to come up really big is going to be India, followed shortly by Africa. And when India comes up, it's going to do much more in a more rule of law way because they have the British Empire in their blood. So they're not going to misbehave sort of in the way that China has, and it's going to be a much better next 20 years, I think, as far as that goes. But then Africa, if they can industrialize even half as strongly as China, we will have the same problems of lawlessness with Africa. But I think
we're going to see countries like Brazil make it, countries like Ecuador, Colombia, all of the Latin American countries who recently rediscovered these things.
They're already developed.
Not really.
They've got
yeah, some of them, not fully.
They've got power plants and dams and roads.
But not in all of the country.
Well, all right, so they're second world countries, but they're not as far behind as Africa or large parts of India.
All the Midland in South America is untapped raw potential. All the heartland, all the Amazon as it is now, incredible potential there. No, untapped yet. And if it does become tapped, South America, some of South America, especially Brazil, is going to become a power. Not an economical powerhouse, but up there. Definitely big.
I think Brazilians, they have sort of a mental trauma because of the slavery they went through, because of the racism that we have there. I think they have to develop intellectually first in order to become a first world country. I think they have a lot of problems regarding their philosophy, and how to conduct business and stuff.
Yeah, I think intellectually they are going to have to grow up before they're going to be able to compete on the world stage.
I don't think so, especially after
too much corruption in there.
Yeah, all of South America is full of a lot of corruption, isn't it? I mean, what's going on with Brazil right now? It's a disaster.
There's corruption.
And I just said just a couple months ago, I was making a video about where you can put your money in the world. And I said Brazil is stable. I was wrong. Like a week later, they got the president being hauled into jail.
No, it's true in Brazil if you invest in real estate because they're not going to touch your land. It's very well known with these gauchos. They call gauchos people from South Brazil. You touch a gaucho's land, you're dead. That doesn't fly with them.
Yeah, see, that kind of stuff's got to stop, or they're never going to be able to develop their economies.
What? No, people being, possessive about their land is a positive, especially for the economy.
Well, I think the rule of law is what's required for real economic growth.
Yeah, Before rule of law, people have to actually care about their property. They can't, put rule of law and they're suddenly gonna care. They care, so they instigate rule of law to these things. It doesn't work the other way around.
Well, they have to have a certain philosophy. They have to, they have to defend the rights of the individual. They have to before that first before they they have to, I don't know how to say this, but they have to respect the law. They have to want to respect the law.
Yeah, they don't just want to protect their own land. They
exactly.
insist on their neighbor's land being protected as well, sort of thing.
Yeah, they have to be for individual rights. That's essential for the rule of law. You don't just
selfish desire that creates these things, not altruism or any variant of it.
Yeah, individualism that creates these things.
No, not as you're saying it. You're saying, well, they have to actually care about the other guy. No, they don't have to care about the other guy. They have to realize that you don't mess with me, I don't mess with you, we'll be fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, they care about themselves, and that automatically they care about their neighbors.
No, they don't care about. Well, they do care about their neighbors because they're quite amiable people, but they don't necessarily care about how you're saying it. They care mainly, as it is now, depending on who. Remember, Brazil is a very big country, but depending on who you are. In the south, in the south of Brazil, it's much better than in the north.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Not informed, so to speak, huh?
That's what I heard. That in the south, people are more civilized than in the north, for example. You wouldn't say civilized?
I wouldn't say civilized because they're also civilized in the north.
Well, kind of. The crime rate is pretty high in the north. So
have you ever been to Brazil?
I've never been to Brazil, but I'm originally from. Well, yes, I've met Brazilian people. I've met people that been in Brazil, and I'm originally from Cape Verde. It's also a Portuguese-speaking country. So I'm very familiar with the Brazilians.
Now up there, Venezuela and Colombia and stuff, that is a really, really crime-stricken, violent area, isn't it? I mean, that's no exaggeration.
Well, I think like in Colombia, there are like a lot of drugs-related cartels and stuff. But I think people there are like they're sort of selfish in a good way. From my own personal experience, they they're not as as socialists as other countries in South America. But yeah, they have cartel problems, but I think they're pretty capitalistic.
Colombia?
Yeah, I think like in the in the people level,
That would be good news.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Whoa, what are you talking about?
Well, I'm wondering about Venezuela. Like, what exactly is going on there? Do you know anybody close to the situation or near the situation? Is it as bad as the media is making it out when the media is allowed to talk about it?
I've heard that in Venezuela they're like eating their own pets, like their dogs and stuff.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
How do you know this one? Well,
Yeah, Monom says, Liren says it's not that bad over there. Oh my.
it's bad, but it's not as bad as you would believe from the media.
Well, how bad does it have to get before it's bad if they're eating their pets?
Some of them are eating their pets, but the people you see eating their pets are the low-class people. They're not the middle-class people. They're the low-class people. They're people who, even without this BS, would be in pretty big shit.
Well, there are no lower-class people in America that are eating their pets. So something's going on in Venezuela. Not everything's right.
In America keep their pets.
What was it, David?
I was saying the lower class in America keep their pets. They don't eat them.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of homeless with animals.
They love them. Half of the damn, half of the carbon in a household with 2 large dogs goes to the dogs for their meat. I don't really care about carbon output, or I don't believe in environmentalism, but that's what I've heard is the dogs, they produce they have a large carbon footprint because of their meat diet. But that's what Americans are doing. We're feeding more meat to our pets than it would take to feed the whole country of Venezuela, probably.
It's not the same type of meat.
Well, it kind of is. I mean, they take stuff that's spoiled and isn't good for human consumption.
No, they take offal, but people don't like offal, so they just sell it to these things. OFFAL.
Well, there's
lines and stuff like that.
There's things that happen, like my brother was a trucker, and he would have, if they took a load of grain somewhere and it got rained on the way, it wasn't fit for human consumption, and that would become pet food.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's interesting.
I'm just gonna.
What about you?
For a beer.
I thought you were working great at one time.
You thought what?
Oh, I think.
I'm just getting a beer. Go ahead and continue talking. Andrew, did you say you thought something? You thought what?
Well, a long time ago, you, I remember when you first quit YouTube, you had a heart condition, and then you said something about working freight. So I was just curious what the result of all that was, and what you're doing now.
I have a heart condition still. It's just tachycardia, just the speeding heart. Just goes too fast.
That's, you know what's my maximum heart rate ever? You won't believe it.
Highest
ever reached. 250 beats a minute.
That's bad.
That wasn't bad. That was awesome. But it wasn't, you know.
Doing what?
It was after a match in a competition. I was fine after it. I mean, the doctor says you'll be fine. Don't worry. I've seen it before. It's not as bad as they make it out to be. It's not normal.
The reason I was asking is, I really was hoping that school would have worked out when you moved to New York and all that, and so.
Well, it worked out really, really well in one sense. My wife and I learned an awful lot, and the kids did really, really well. And when they went back into the public schools, they were at the very top of their class and had to be put in special sort of side classes that taught higher math and stuff. So it worked out really, really well in that sense. But it didn't work out in the sense that everybody just wanted their kid to come for a year or two and then go back to the normal big school with all the friends. You know, they wanted me to fix the reading problems and the spelling problems and the math, and then that was it. And
like
plus,
a tutor.
They weren't real keen about paying for it either. So that
Yeah.
was Utah. There's not a lot of money in Utah. But, yeah, it worked out really well in one sense, and in the other sense, there's just too much. You know, people are just so impressed by the government schools with the big, they go swimming. A lot of them have swimming pools nearby, or some of them have swimming pools in the school. I didn't even have a playground, for heaven's sakes. You know, I had a swing set. So, you know, in their mind, the kid's missing out on a lot. And even my wife feels that way about our kid. She wants our kid to go to regular school and have the experience. And I've argued with her about it. So that's how close to home the problem is my own wife wants my daughter to have a social experience. So
those things are just for show, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the swimming
No,
pools
they're also
and no
about enjoyment.
contact.
Well, the high schools might not be as bad as the elementary schools. Like if you've already been teaching her for 8 grades or 7 grades, then high school won't do any damage.
High school was the worst, for me at least.
I'm afraid I might have her just skip high school if I'm able. I'm going to send her to college when she's 14 or 15. So that's my view of how good high school is. I really think the kids are supposed to go to school when they're or college when they're 14 or 15. They certainly can't be taught anymore. I mean, they have to learn voluntarily on their own at that age, or they just rebel. So you've got to put them in a setting where it's basically their choice. And the only reason we can't do that is because the unions have pushed the legal age of schooling up so high because they don't want to compete with 14 and 15-year-olds for jobs. So if we can keep everybody in school, well, if we can, the unions found out back in the early 1900s that if you can keep everybody in school, then that's that many less people to compete for jobs. So, or people used to start looking for jobs when they were 14. Now they have to wait till they're 25 or 30. So
well, yeah.
it's
becoming smart.
What?
Isn't it smart? Unions are dastardly. But isn't it easier to, I don't know, work under the table like they do, like I did? I worked as a mover. I worked 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, sometimes 12, moving stuff.
Some of that happens, but in America, you really, really, really take your future into your hands if you break the law about stuff like that.
And, you know, IRS against that.
Yeah, the IRS is no joke. They are a police state.
Yeah.
That's one advantage of living in a place like South America or Israel. You know, you can make these things and nobody's gonna care.
That would be nice sometimes, I think. We have a lot of advantages to live in a society. Yeah, a really, really advanced society with a lot of rules is nice in a lot of ways, but it restricts your freedoms in order to have those freedoms. You have the freedom to open a business and run it, but you have everybody breathing down your neck the whole time. Which, is it better to open a business and have nobody breathing down your neck and then somebody comes and robs you in the middle of the night and there's no police force to go to? Oh.
Yeah, you're better off just shooting the guy.
No, the government took your guns. That government that's not about laws took your guns.
Right. We got stab him then. Use a sword or a spear.
Well, he's a criminal, so he has a gun.
But you have a spear.
Your spear's not as long as his bullet.
That doesn't matter. Well, actually, to be fair, if there's 2 guys and, I don't know, they're 7 meters apart, the guy with the spear is gonna win.
Debatable.
I'll
take the gun and we'll try it and see.
It's been tested before. You know that 7 feet, no, not 7 feet, 21 feet, if there's a guy with a gun and there's a guy with a knife, the guy with the knife wins almost every time.
I'm pretty confident I'd be able to shoot someone 21 feet away.
You wouldn't. Stop lying.
I'm pretty confident I could take them out. By the time they get to 15 feet, they're already dead.
No. Because remember, you don't run people don't run in a straight line. People run in a zigzag.
Yeah, and bullets move fucking fast.
Yeah, well, you can shoot a couple times.
Aiming is the problem. Remember, aiming is like magic. You know, you aim and shoot in the movies. You actually have to aim, steady it, pull the trigger slowly.
What do you think you've never fired a gun before? You know how to aim a gun. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, in this scenario, the person with the gun probably doesn't have the bullet in the chamber, and the bullet's probably in their boot. And the gun is probably locked. It has a key lock or something on it. So they're like, he's got to get the key out and unlock it, and then he's got to get in his boot and get the bullet, put the bullet in the chamber. It's not practical. Guns are dangerous. They're going to kill you.
when you have a gun, and your enemy is too close, you have to back up and keep shooting. Actually, that's one of the strategies that I use in FPS games. You know, so you don't wait for the enemy to come at you. You have to back up a little bit and keep shooting it.
Right. While that guy's coming with the spear,
Why sacrifice the advantage for long distance weapons?
So distance base, I'm gonna base the maximum in the house, for example. The maximum distance from one point to the other is 5 meters, unless you have a very big house. But most houses are smaller than that, so you can just have a spear, get close to the guy, knock the gun out of his hand and stab him. That's how usually it goes. I've tried this actually. You know, I did martial arts for a while. I lived in an embassy. The embassy had guards. The guards let me in on some of their training sessions, and they said to each other, "Look, if a guy comes with a gun to stab, with a knife, don't use the gun."
Yeah. In a small space, yeah, that's true. You have to use hand-to-hand combat.
No, not even in a small space. Just if you're close to each other, and if you're in a small space, you're gonna guarantee.
How many specialize in spear combat?
It's really easy to use a spear.
Yeah, who even owns a fucking spear?
Huh?
Do you own a spear?
Yes. Yes, I do. What's so funny?
So, I think we need a new topic.
Yeah, let's
How do you defend yourself? I can't own a gun. I'm a metic, like Aristotle.
Let's
Mr. Cropper, what book series are you thinking of doing since you're back on YouTube? I know you're doing the Nietzsche Genealogy of Morals, but anything else you're planning on doing?
I want to finish Aristotle's. I want to do a lot of Aristotle's stuff. So I want to do his Posteria Analytica and his Ethics and maybe more. So the problem with that is nobody cares. Some of my favorite stuff, I only get like 20 or 40 or 60 views, you know? So,
well, that's not like a lot in YouTube standards, but 60 people, 100 people, I think are, a lot of people.
That's a lot of people for an Aristotle video, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was off for a while on my YouTube. I mean, not off, but like I was like putting videos up every couple of months, very sporadically, and then I came back and 2 videos up. One was last week at 644 views, and the one 2 weeks ago has 2,050 views. So.
Yeah, you do your physics videos. We're gonna have to do like a whole hour just to me because I'm just gonna rip you apart on that shit.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh my God.
I got a lot of. I actually got invited out to California to study because of this stuff, right?
Not by someone like me, though.
No, not by someone. And guess what? Did I tell you this? I might have told you this the other day. There's actually a famous physicist who liked the video I made 2 weeks ago, and he's going to bring it up at a physics conference next week.
I'll bet
was he a mainstream physicist?
Yeah. Well,
so he's probably wrong.
I don't know about that. I know. I've seen your criticism of physics. I can get you the details a lot more than you might realize. So.
Well, your first assumption in that one particular video was a violation of the first axiom of existence.
Which one?
You started out by saying the mind exists, which is jumping the fact that something exists. You just jump right over the fact that things exist and say...
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying things don't exist. I never said things don't exist.
Because your first premise is that the mind exists. Of course
that means something exists, so there's something there. I mean, it's obvious.
The mind exists within things that exist.
Right.
The fact that it proves that there's existence.
Yeah, I never denied that. So
you use the fact that the mind exists as a basis for further reasoning, ignoring the rest of reality.
Yeah.
I just made deductions about the nature of the rest of it. I didn't say existence exists or didn't exist. I mean, that's kind of assumed. I just went in and said the mind exists, and then I added additional premises, and then said therefore we can do certain things about the nature of reality. About the nature of it.
That sounds very good.
for the mind to exist, there has to be like a substrate. There has to be like matter for the mind to be made of.
No, it's actually it's the other way around. That's
Really?
what it's telling us.
No, because if that's true, then the mind is made out of nothing. It's like
no, it's
right.
The mind is not about The mind is not about matter. The mind is something about an individual.
Yeah, true. Your mind
has material existence, but
your mind is made of matter, though.
So, yeah,
it's the other way around. They're actually showing now that matter, as well as what we call space-time, emerges from integrated information, which is consciousness.
Well, then there's nothing.
No, it's not nothing. It's just a program.
But you have to remember that information is matter. It's a measurement. So you can't have information without matter.
Well, actually, you can. That's where the whole. That's the weird thing with the physics. That's where it's going. I call it digital physics. There's something there.
Well,
but something is information, though. It's strange to think about. I know, but it's.
Now that's the people. What if the whole universe is a hologram inside of our mind, forgetting the fact that it is not?
But it is.
It isn't. It isn't.
I actually did my undergrad capstone project on explaining the detailed physics of how, like.
And like I've been in arguments with you before, and you always argue that it's because of quantum physics. You know, you always bring quantum physics because quantum physics it's not really a theory. It's sort of like epicycles. It's just you know, it's just about probabilities and stuff. So it doesn't actually.
Anyway, I would say that the realist models of QM are epicyclic in a sense. Like, what was this models blog on this? He demonstrated actually that it was a very simple argument that all the realist models of quantum mechanics would require additional mechanisms, right? That would make them compatible with realism somehow, right? Now they're going to rule those things out, but let's suppose that there's something that we missed somewhere along the way that would fix this. And what he pointed out that is if that's the case, those additional mechanisms would add additional informational states to the physical system, which would then create a higher than expected heat capacity, specific heat capacity. And so if it is true that there is some mechanism that we're missing, the quantum states would have a higher thermodynamic capacity than they actually have. It's actually measured of them.
You speak of not it exists. That's very odd.
Oh, they exist.
Well, not really.
Not what we think they are. It's okay. Remember, like, I showed that paper once, and people always assume to say you're an idealist so that you still things don't exist, and that's actually true. There's like the Berkeley version, right? And that's subjective idealism. That's everyone assumes that's what I am, and that's actually not quite what I am. It's called objective idealism. When there's a reality out there, but out there is not what we think of as out there in a spatial material sense. It's out there in a kind of a structural sense, like a sim person inside of a program.
Okay, but for you to have structure, you have to have matter.
That's the assumption.
Yeah, no, it's an assumption based on reality. You know, what's the alternative?
Everyone assumes that reality has to be material, right? Or that's the subconscious intuition we have about the world. But there's no reason that it would have to be material rather than mental at bottom.
I disagree with that. There's every reason in the world to think that.
We went out in the world and we found matter, and we said this is reality.
Except when we looked down at the matter, we found something very strange. Okay, before you do a debate, you got to watch this other video. I did a documentary with MrCropper.
All right, am I going to make it more than 30? Am I going to make it more than 30 seconds before there's a catastrophic fallacy?
No, nothing like that. It starts actually with a survey. The first 25 minutes are like a survey of interesting comparisons, and you'll see where it's going.
Let me ask you this: how is your conclusion followed from the data? How is it followed from the data?
Specifically, what they've been finding is that, you know how they say that modern physics is very strange. Quantum mechanics has
I didn't say how it followed from the discussion. I said followed from the data.
To explain
Yochanan, not the discussion, the data.
I'm getting to the data, but in order to get to the data, I have to explain the framework in which the data is being analyzed, okay? To show you where the train of thought is, where we're at right now in physics, okay?
What data are you talking about?
What they've found specifically are that all of these so-called weirdnesses that you see in quantum mechanics or relativity, which are previously thought to be separate models of the world, right? Like they're separate, unrelated models of the world. What they found is that all the so-called weirdnesses, when they tried to unify them, they have uncanny resemblances to the effects of information processing in virtual realities. So if you were to take a quote-unquote real world, a material world that has, absolute matter of atoms in empty space-time, and then you compare it to what you would expect inside of a virtual reality, which it looks material on the surface, and it looks like it has, real space and so on, but it's really a clever simulation of those things, okay? Now, if you were to compare the two, there's a slight difference. I mean, on the surface, you go into a virtual reality, it looks just like a real reality, right? There's matter, you can walk around your computer game, turn around, it looks, things are there when you look at them again. There's reality to it, but it's a video game, and you don't realize that it's a video game until you look at it very close, until you stretch. Look at the extreme points of the parameters of the simulation. Like, for example, what's the information processing load in a certain area, or how fast does the computer process things? And when you do that, you find at those extreme limits, you find there are glitches or artifacts, you might say, that you wouldn't expect that the world was real.
You're on mute.
Well, now
these are very noticeable. These are very noticeable too. I have a list of like 13 of these at the beginning.
It's been found that wave functions are very similar to are kind of digital. That's why we have the quantum theory. But that doesn't mean it's a video game. It's like a video game. It means that like we have the photons and the phonons. They have sort of like digital behavior, but they are made of matter. It's been shown that they could be treated like waves interacting, so it doesn't prove that it's a simulation.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember that we invented computers, we invented all of this stuff, and then we go out into reality and we start making analogies and metaphors. And we forget that we invented all that stuff. All we find out in the universe is gas and dust and rocks and gravity. We don't find anything digital or anything holographic. So those are all concepts that come from our technology. And to go out and now say, oh, everything's made out of computers is fucking ridiculous.
It's unbelievable. And actually, it's an old concept that was used back in the Middle Ages. But instead of computers, they're assigning reality to God. That everything was sort of
That's not the same concept.
It's a.
What's that even similar?
Say again, please.
How is that even similar to assigning reality to God and to assigning reality to a computer? That doesn't even.
Because the world, it's sort of like a virtual reality in God's mind, that everything that happens, it's in God's will. There's no like natural or physical causation causing the things that we see, but it's actually because God wants it to, because God thinks that way, so the world behaves that way.
I have to say, Super Fin Guy, I forgot that you believed in God. That's where we.
I don't.
Some years ago, I think.
That's not.
I don't believe in God.
The way the world is.
Why? I believe in the in the laws of nature and how things form around the universe, but I don't believe in God. No.
Oh, okay. What was it we had a falling out on?
I think we had a discussion once about Aristotle and Plato, and how I said that they're sort of like in in different spectrums of different fallacies. I'm I think that Plato is an idealist, and and Aristotle is a pragmatist and a materialist.
That's not
And
true, by the way, if you read Aristotle. I mean, it's true only if you read the scholastic interpretation of him. But if you read him and translate the Greek not into equivalent terms, you get a very different person. It's very likely that Aristotle was not a intrinsicist and did not think that stuff was in the thing that is, but the translation stuck, so we see him as such. So
well,
scholastic Aristotle.
I favor people like Pythagoras. They're sort of like they don't think that mathematics is just something in our minds, but it's actually mathematics are like abstractions of things that really go on reality, you know.
They put them in the metaphysical realm.
I was talking about Aristotle, not about Pythagoras.
Okay, yeah. Just explaining how there's a difference between Aristotle and Pythagoras, and why I favor Pythagoras. Yeah, but I think that a lot of things that Aristotle says, I think they are right. But I think his more sciencey stuff are a bit out there. You know.
What do you find compelling about Plato?
Well, I don't. I definitely. I think Plato is an idealist. I think his things are just completely out there, and I don't. And he takes the Pythagorean ideas out of context. You know, I think he's just there to hijack the ideas of Pythagoras on one side, on the mystical side, and Aristotle is more on the pragmatic side, I think.
You say pragmatic. I think that's possibly a good interpretation for his ethics, because, as Peikoff said, he never gave a reason why this or that is a good action. All he was able to say was, it seems that good men do this thing, therefore that's what you should do. But I found his ethics a lot more compelling than that on a deeper level than just pragmatism.
Okay.
But,
yeah, I think these things are very sort of like superficial. They're very superficial. Yeah, I think, but I think like the stuff that Ayn Rand wrote are way deeper than the ethics of Aristotle.
yeah, well, his ethics only went down to the point of observing what good men do, and she actually provided a reason for it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
yeah,
he also gives
and,
reason. No, Aristotle also gives reason. That's just not true. He gives reason about magnanimity. He gives reason about pseudo pride, what we would call pride. He gives reasons for a lot of things.
Now, he doesn't give any wider justification for the. He doesn't give any.
But they are very superficial.
Yeah, if he gave a wider justification for ethics, he would have been able to justify things like freedom and individual rights and liberty and democracy. He wasn't able to justify any of that. He was an aristocrat. He was an anti-democracy mob, an anti-mob person. So.
I mean, you can blame him because you see on one side there's Athens and it's a rabble, and on the other side there's his, childhood friend Philip in his state, and you can look at Macedonia and you can look at Athens and you can see which one of them is the victor. And you can have to say the Macedonian aristocracy is the superior model because Athens could have been burned to the ground. So he's right about that, but his ethical reasons are not superficial at all. He gives reasons on why magnanimity is important. He ties it out to what does it mean to be a good man. He ties it up what does it mean to what he thinks it means to live in various respects and what it means to have a soul. Aristotle's ethics is very well integrated with the rest of his work. It's just not true that it's not fully integrated like Ayn Rand's theory is, but it's integrated. You can't say it's not fully. It's superficial. It's not deep like Ayn Rand is, but it's not superficial.
Well, just a side note for what you said there, I think it's interesting that people often don't give enough credit maybe to Alexander the Great for having accomplished what he did because he was the student of a genius, possibly, I think, maybe. I don't know, but
Well,
it seems likely that Aristotle's teaching gave Alexander sort of a larger view of history and what's important than most
Yes.
people have.
He was, I think Alexander the Great, I think he was like a savior of the Greek culture. And because and at the end he was assassinated. You know, he was poisoned. No?
Poisoned or died on the desert of dehydration or something, of sickness. But
I've heard that he was poisoned at a party.
he drank
No.
himself to death. There's no other explanation of it. The guy drove himself to his limits, got injured every place, went through the desert, and drank like a maniac.
Who did this?
Well, is there any proof of that?
Yes.
I've heard that he was poisoned, but never that he was.
That he was poisoned, but everything else leads him to one pathway to ruin his life at its prime, and it makes sense. His hero was Achilles. Achilles could have died young, but been remembered forever, or lived a long and uneventful life. Achilles chose to live a short life. Alexander the Great burned himself out to death. I mean, he did give it his all after every battle. He was the first soldier in battle and usually the last out. And he got injured a lot of times. You gotta imagine what toll that can leave on you, physically and mentally, and how much he drank. Being a Macedonian, Macedonians drink a lot, was supposed to drink a lot as it is. Basically, Alexander the Great died because he burned himself out. Secondly, who would have gained anything? Alexander the Great was beloved by all. He was celebrated after his death even. It doesn't even make sense. I mean, he could have been poisoned. Doesn't mean he's even probable.
Well, I think he was hated by the elites, by the people that would become Rome. You know, because Alexandria, his great achievement, was burnt to the ground. You know, we lost one of the best libraries in history there in Alexandria.
You know, it's weird. I learned, you guys heard of the Piraeus map, right?
The Piraeus what?
Piraeus map. It was it's a pirate map, and it was based on older maps that went back to Alexander the Great, I think. And it was weird because it had Antarctica without ice on it.
Wow.
Yeah, and the thing was, they said that actually was copied from maps that were in the Library of Alexandria.
Huh.
And unfortunately, we don't have those anymore because the thing got burned down. So.
Yeah, you know you're a historian fan if you still get upset thinking about that library.
There was something, they had stuff in there probably that we don't know about that was, I mean, if they had a map, you know, if they had maps with ice-free Antarctica on it, you know, dating back several millennia. Actually, the map itself dates back, it was picked up, it was discovered, I think, in 1500, and it dates back further and was based on older maps, which were supposedly based on maps in the Library of Alexandria.
That's fascinating. I never heard that.
Yeah. It's crazy because, I mean, it's got, like, you know, a map of the world that we would expect to see today, you know, with modern, you know, after modern exploration went around and found places.
Could have been it just got lucky.
What?
Could have been it just got lucky. I mean, we don't have any evidence of this map, so it doesn't matter anyways.
All right. Well, we have the Piraeus map, but, you know, we know certain things about it and how far back it dates, but yeah.
We know maybes. We have a lot of maybes. And if you ever try to build anything on maybes, you're not going to.
Right. Well, the maybe I think is the Library of Alexandria component, but it's the rest of it we know for certain. But the part that is speculative but has some evidence behind it is that it came from the Library of Alexandria.
Interesting. All right, listen, folks. I've had a good time with this, but I'm pretty drunk and I need to go to bed. So.
That's what they like to do.
All right, guys. You guys want to look my documentary in the side?
All right, Crocker.
I might watch it. Not so. I don't like these type of historical conspiracy things, especially with so little evidence.
Oh no, this is not the Piraeus. This is my physics documentary.
The what?
All right. Hey, it was good. Thanks all for showing up, and we'll be doing this.
That's the note. I forgot. I'm sorry.
This was the first one of these that I posted, so it was sort of started out chaotic, and
Get it recorded.
yeah, it started out very badly with some bad luck with everybody's microphones and stuff. But now we've got it straightened out, and I'll be able to do these hangouts. I'll plan to do 1 or 2 a week probably, and we'll sort of make them more aimed next time, and sort of like aim them towards physics on one and philosophy on another and stuff, and sort of try to keep it a little more balanced and aimed. But thanks everybody for coming.
And did it record?
And salute.
Thanks for hosting.
Did it record?
Yep. Sure.
Please tell me it recorded.
I hope it recorded. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
Record.
All right. Guten Nacht.
No.
German. Who the fuck likes German?